I fell in love with Rembrandt as an artist when I was 6 years old, when my mother took me to the Metropolitan and I encountered Rembrandt for the very first time, and it spoke to me, to use that cliched expression. There was something about it. I can't possibly imagine that I was that precocious to understand his insights on the human condition. But nonetheless, whether it was the chiaroscuro, the contrast of light and dark, whether it was the intensity of the inner life, it spoke to me. Yeah. And from that time on, every weekend, we would go to visit Rembrandt.
Now, did your mother say there's something wrong with my son who's focused on Rembrandt? There aren't that many 6-year-olds who are focused on Rembrandt. So did she ever mention this to you as being unusual?
She voted with her feet. So probably after the 10th or 12th weekend that we went to visit Rembrandt, she said, I think it's time for me to broaden his horizons. And she took me to MoMA.
Okay.
And I remember encountering a white canvas with a red line across it. And so she says, I was missing my 2 front teeth. Apparently I crossed my arms, shook my head, and I said, Mommy, please take me back to the Rembrandt.
Okay.
And we were back to the Metropolitan.
Okay. So when you were successful in business, you said, now I can afford to buy some Rembrandts. Is that right?
No. Self-knowledge is it's a journey. So I never intended to become an art collector. In fact, when my wife's mother, Mira, who's an artist, said, you really should become an art collector. You're a historian, you love classical art, and perhaps it was because it was my mother-in-law, but I said to her, I will never become a vulgar materialist. 3 months later, Daphne and I were embarked upon a buying spree that was roughly, on average, 1 painting a week for 5 years.
Now, Dutch paintings?
All Dutch, Golden Age, Old Masters.
Now, Golden Age of Dutch painting was in what years, roughly?
In the 17th century.
Today, your collection is called the
Leiden Collection.
And how many works are in it?
About 250.
And have you lent them to places like the Louvre?
Sure.
And does the Louvre take a lot of American artists or collectors' works? Is that very common?
No. We had our, as it were, our coming out party at the Louvre in 2017. We were persuaded that we should put all of the scholarship online and make the academic and the scholarly attributes of the collection available to curators, students, historians, dealers, collectors. But we also knew that the trade-off was that we would lose the anonymity. So that was our Rubicon. Once we decided to do that, we decided, okay, let's also have an exhibition of some of the pieces from the collection. And we started with the Louvre with 30. The collection can't be replicated. Literally, the numbers, it cannot be done. I mean, the next largest collection of Rembrandt has 2 paintings in it. There are only 35 or so in private hands. And this is basically as large a collection as the largest national museums. So it's a responsibility that we have to be able to find a way to advance the cause of helping Rembrandt have another 350, 400 years of relevance because we believe that he's the most important painter who ever lived.
Well, I'm a trustee of the National Gallery of Art, and we'd be always happy to talk to you if you ever had an interest in the National Gallery.